Hi, David Bryant Mitchell here, author of the new book, Building Your Booming Business, and creator of the 5 Foundations of Business Principles. Before I get too deep into what we're doing today, I want to say thank you. I've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of excitement, a lot of phone calls and voice messages telling me how excited people are about the book, how excited they are to get their copy of it. And I'm just as excited as you are. There's a lot that goes in to writing a book, and my purpose for writing a book was to have one more tool to be able to influence and improve business, to improve your business. Because when you get better results with your business, you get better results in your home life. Everything that you do is impacted by that. So thank you, and hold on tight because there's a lot more to come. So today I want to talk to you about leverage, talking about getting more done, accomplishing more, and keeping your sanity at the same time. If you remember back to the first video, I talked about putting a line down the middle of your paper. And on the left-hand side of your paper, you put your most effective uses. What do you do best? And on the right-hand side, I said put everything else that you have to do. And what you got to do is you got to delegate everything on this other side so that you can focus more on the 3 to 5 things that you do best. But here's the challenge. All this other stuff still has to get done. So if you're a solopreneur, or even if you're running a very large team, how do you get it all done when there's not somebody to delegate it to? Sometimes it's okay to procrastinate. Yes, I said it. It's okay to procrastinate some of the stuff that's not as important. Okay? So that's okay. But there's some things that still have to get done. The bookkeeping, the taxes, some of the marketing materials that it takes 3 and 5 and 6 hours to put together, when really your better use of time is to actually be doing something else. Maybe actually putting out the promotion or strategizing. Maybe it's actually interacting with the customers. Whatever your best use of time isn't always in putting together marketing materials or keeping the books or many of those other things that we have to do all the time. So let me give you some quick tools. Number 1, if you find that you're in a position and you need to delegate something but you don't have someone you can delegate it to, I'm going to give you 3 places you can go. And depending on what your need might be will depend on which one you might choose. So first off, a great one specifically for marketing materials is Fiverr. Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com. Basically, for $5, you can have just about anything done for you. Logos, flyers. Sometimes I've had websites that I couldn't quite get to work right, so I sent it to Fiverr to have somebody else figure out how to make that work, implement my vision. So Fiverr is a great way to get rid of some of the marketing materials and things that you need to get done. 2 other websites that I suggest. One is Odesk.com and the other is Elance.com. Odesk.com is a great one for virtual assistants because they have a project planning system where you can actually see screenshots of what your virtual assistant is working on, because you can pay them by the hour. That's one of the options on Odesk, and you can actually track what they're doing. I actually had a virtual assistant a while back that spent 5 hours on my project, but when she had to go back through and pull out all the screenshots that were not my work directly, it dropped it to about 45 minutes. So her poor use of time did not impact my pocketbook. So Odesk is a great one for if you're doing some hourly work with somebody. If you're doing project work, Odesk and Elance are very similar. You can put a bid out saying, this is the project that I have, I'd like somebody to bid on it. I had some audio from a seminar that I did. I had it edited and enhanced so it was better to understand. It was about 4 hours of content that I had edited for me for $50. If I had done that anywhere else, I would have spent probably $200 or $300, probably more than that for 4 hours of work. And it took more than 4 hours because just to listen to the content was 4 hours, but the actual editing probably took double that. Anyway, so those are some tools that you can use to help you delegate and outsource some of the work that you know needs to get done, but can be very time consuming for you. I once sent over a logo over to Fiverr.com, and what I got back was horrendous. It was not usable, did not look professional at all, and the reason was that I was not specific in what I was looking for. I did not have some very basic ideas of what I wanted to see in my logo. And because it was only $5, I mean, I wash it up to lessons learned. The next time I had a logo done at Fiverr, I had some very specific ideas of what I wanted to have happen. And I went through a little bit more process ruling out people that I wasn't sure was going to do a good job. I did the same thing with my virtual assistant. Now, I use Odesk for my virtual assistant. And I went through 2 different virtual assistants before I found the right one. And I interviewed them. Now, some of the individuals that are going to bid or want to be part of the job that you post on these websites, many of them are in India or Bangladesh, or right now my virtual assistant is in Bulgaria. The communicating with them can be a challenge because you've got time zone differences, right? Maybe middle of the night when you need to contact them. So make sure that you manage that relationship well and that you're communicating well with them. And the interviewing process isn't much different than if you were hiring somebody on a part-time basis. The only difference is that instead of doing a face-to-face or a direct phone call, you can use Skype or Google Hangouts or any of the other free video chatting or free messaging systems. I also want to talk to you about leadership and the difference between leadership and management. You see, leadership is a soft skill that involves gathering a group of people together, inspiring them for a common cause, and then helping them feel motivated and moving forward, and utilizing their best ideas to move the entire team forward. Now, you can do leadership just one-on-one with one person, where you pull them into your cause, help them feel emotionally committed to what your shared vision is of the future, and then help them move forward towards that. Or you can do it with a large team. Either way, you're accomplishing the same thing and you're using the same skills. So that's leadership. On the other hand, management is about accountability. It's about systems and processes. And they seem counterintuitive because if you're too heavy with the management, you can kill leadership. But leadership without management is just pie in the sky. It's a dream that nobody can put their arms around. It's the management that puts substance to the leadership. And it's the leadership that keeps people moving through the management piece. And so you've got to use both. As you're working through leadership and management, and while you've got to have both, you've got to balance them both. And that's a bit of an act. Sometimes you're going to wear the leadership hat. Sometimes you're going to wear the management hat. Sometimes you're going to have to do both. I've been in meetings where I had to change leadership and management within seconds of each other just to keep the team moving forward. So keep that in mind as you start thinking about, well, how do I lead my team? How do I move them forward? Am I using leadership appropriately? Am I inspiring them? Do they feel a common cause with me? And then on the other side, am I holding them accountable for what they say they're going to do? Do I have systems in place to teach them and instruct them on the things that they need to accomplish to make this vision a reality? Something to think about. And it's not an easy thing. I've devoted a whole section of the book to leadership and management. So, not enough to go into in depth in this short 15 to 20 minute video. But I want you to think about that. We'll be talking about it more on January 7th. In case you haven't heard, January 7th, 2015 is the launch of my new book, Building Your Booming Business. We're going to be meeting at the Kitsap Conference Center. Doors will open at 5:30. We'll get the program started around 6. So come, get a copy of your book, figure out how to improve your marketing, improve your leadership, improve your business, and improve yourself. Because that's the way success happens. It doesn't happen from outside sources. It doesn't happen because you hit the lottery. It happens because you put forth the effort. You do the things necessary to make success happen. We'll see you on January 7th.